Welcome everyone to the second annual Fertility Matters Award ceremony. This is a very, very special night where we come together to celebrate the people in the fertility community across Canada who are impacting change, supporting patients, being vulnerable and sharing stories, helping to raise education, awareness, and advocacy efforts as a whole. We are so fortunate to be surrounded tonight by so many incredible people who have truly been making a change and an impact on all of us. This community is so special, and it is really hard sometimes to feel like you're not alone, you're not isolated, when you don't know where to turn. And the people we celebrate tonight are truly change makers. And I am so fortunate to not only celebrate their achievements and their work with you tonight, but also that I get to work with these individuals on a very, very regular basis. They make my work better. They allow Fertility Matters Canada to continue to educate and drive awareness because of their involvement and their help for us in driving our mission forward. We started the Fertility Awards in 2023 during Canadian Fertility Awareness Week. And tonight we honor and celebrate these amazing humans for all of their work and commitment. Our first award, and I'm going to read from my page because it's really important to recognize what the award stands for. All of these nominations, we had hundreds of nominations come in from all across the country, and these are peer nominated. Lots of times it's a fertility patient who is nominating the people who are receiving the awards because they have impacted or made a significant impact in their fertility journey. Our first award of the evening is the Hope and Healing Award. And this award is for physicians, so fertility doctors who are who are working in Canada and who have demonstrated outstanding commitment, dedication, and expertise in the field of reproductive medicine. The award is given to a physician who has made a significant contribution to the advancement of fertility treatment through clinical excellence, research, education, advocacy. And this person is a leader in the field, providing exceptional care to fertility patients on their path to parenthood, which is something I know all physicians in Canada strive for. But what makes this award very special is that this person was nominated several times by several patients, and they have truly touched the lives of so many Canadians. This year's award winner for the Hope and Healing Award is Dr. Tom Hannum.
Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate this opportunity today. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Tom, and congratulations. I have the great pleasure of working with you on a regular basis especially over the last 8 or 9 years. And I have heard time and time again from patients how much they appreciate your care for them and your compassion towards what they're going through. Tell me a little bit about why patient-centered care and why that is such an important piece of your clinical work.
I think this award, I'm honored to be here today and embarrassed at the same time, because of course it's not about one person at all, and I think that's the message that I hope everyone is able to hear today. I'm fortunate to be backed up by an incredible lab team who are the people who truly deliver the success that patients are looking for when they bravely approach a fertility clinic setting. But what I really want to shout out today is the people who precede the fertility doctor, the nurse practitioners, the nurses, the family doctors, every patient who finds themselves in a fertility setting realizes just how important those individuals are. And day in, day out, those are the people who really make the difference. And I think that empowering those individuals to work with patients, to really hear stories, to really help individuals make their fertility plans is what sets up success for any fertility doctor who, at best, is executing on what that patient's individual plan needs to be.
Yeah, and Tom, to your point, you have an amazing team at Hannam Fertility Center. I know you have personally helped hundreds, if not thousands, of babies come into this world. You're also a big supporter of advocacy and education and ensuring that patients are informed. And over the years, you have supported Fertility Matters in our education efforts. And I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about why that part of what you do, because you do volunteer your time when you come on our podcast or when you do our webinars. Why is that an important piece of the work that you do?
I think that what Fertility Matters is doing is providing what I would argue is the most important piece, which is helping people in the community who may be thinking about going to a fertility clinic or who are in the throes of going through fertility treatments, understand what their journey could be and what it is to them, what it is that they're trying to achieve. Some aspects of fertility care are actually just going through the steps of coming in the morning, going through the steps of taking a fertility hormone, going through the steps of a retrieval. I think the bigger question is are those steps the right steps for you? Is this where you want to be? Is this the right way to get to what your goals are going to be? That's a complicated conversation. And I think what Fertility Matters is doing is providing the basis, the educational basis, so more people, more patients are able to make an informed choice as they decide what their relationship to this world might be.
Well, Dr. Tom Hannam, you truly are a champion for patients. You're a champion for education and advocacy in the work that Fertility Matters certainly is doing, but as a whole, the Canadian fertility patient. So on behalf of not only Fertility Matters, but everyone who has walked through the clinic doors, who you have touched and cared for, you are so deserving of this award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Carolyn.
That was Dr. Tom Hannam, winner of the 2024 Hope and Healing Award. The next award is for excellence in fertility care. So in the world of fertility, we have lots of different experts. And this award is a very prestigious honor that recognizes the exceptional professionals who are not fertility doctors, who have made significant contributions to the field of fertility care, patient care in Canada. This award recognizes individuals or organizations for their exceptional patient care, leadership in the fertility field, and dedication to improving the lives of individuals and couples on their path to parenthood. These professionals have a deep understanding of the emotional and physical challenges that can accompany these fertility issues and are committed to providing compassionate and individualized care to those they support. Again, this award is given to someone. It is nominated, this person has been nominated by patients who have been through their door and have received care. Dr. Jennifer Fitzgerald from Conceive Health is the award winner for Excellence in Fertility Care 2024. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Carolyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations. This is certainly a very prestigious award. Of course, we had several nominations come through for you with lots of different stories from people who have received care from you over the years. We are very fortunate, of course, to know each other, and we appreciate the work that Conceive Health and that you and your team do. But this award is for you to celebrate your ability to care for patients. Tell us a little bit about your ability to connect and why it's so important for you to listen to patients and to help support them on their fertility journey.
Yeah, sure. So I think, the fertility journey is complex, and it's easy for patients to get really caught up in the minor and in infinite microscopic details, especially when it comes to something like IVF, right? But looking at the big picture often and just taking a step back, and understanding that, our overall health, our well-being, mind, body, spirit kind of thing do contribute a lot to not only our overall health, but our reproductive health. So I think just sort of taking that step back and looking at your diet, your lifestyle, your nutrient status, your mental health, those types of things on top of all of that important fertility stuff is really sort of the message that I'm trying to bring. And yeah, so I think just sort of approaching it from an all-encompassing, like holistic perspective in terms of not just focusing on ovaries or eggs and sperm, but focusing on overall health and well-being as you're going through that process.
Yes, and I should mention Dr. Fitzgerald is a naturopathic doctor, so helps support people in lots of different areas along the reproductive journey. And so the work that you do is really important to helping support those pathways to parenthood. And you work with lots of different patients with lots of different issues. And I commend you for continuing to not only show up for your patients in your office when they have appointments with you, but also for showing up, online and to continuing education, so that people who may not necessarily be in Toronto where your clinic happens to be, they can get the information from you to help them make more informed decisions about options. What is really interesting is we're seeing more people choosing naturopathic care for along their fertility journey, especially if they're in or maybe going into active fertility treatment. I'd love to know from your perspective, what are something that makes your work so important, and for people to consider this as an option for them on their path to parenthood?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, if I look back sort of at the beginning of my career, it would be very, very rare, I think, to think of an ND first if you were seeking fertility care. But again, I think if you take a step back and look at, overall health in general, like my motto, my policy, my mantra in my practice is your health, their future. So healthy humans will make healthier cells, and that makes a big impression on our ability to conceive, our reproductive health in general. So I think that is sort of the focus and emphasis that I try to make. But I think having access to this type of information is powerful. I think we don't know what we don't know, kind of thing. So I think in terms of sort of getting that message across and making it obvious that it is something that we want to pay attention to is very, very important to me in terms of both from a professional perspective and from a patient perspective, right? So it was also very, very rare, and still probably very rare, to see an ND working inside of a fertility clinic. And so that takes a lot of integration and support on both ends. So the fertility clinic has to want us to be there. That makes me be, very evidence-based and make sure that, the things that I'm doing are supportive and helpful to the goals that they're trying to achieve in the fertility clinic. But then also from the patient perspective, making them really understand that, there are things within their control that they can do to actually improve their outcome in a lot of cases.
Yeah. One thing I'd love listeners to know, or viewers to know, is that you and your team especially, I know for sure you have been involved in it, is advocacy for populations across the country. So you are located, and your clinic is located in the GTA, and that's where, of course, a lot of our fertility centers and experts are located. But you are very active in advocating and figuring out better access across the country. So we appreciate your work on that and your continued support of ensuring that people from coast to coast to coast actually have access points to get care. Why is that so important to you?
Well, I mean, you're right in the sense that, often NDs or even fertility clinics are located in these sort of really busy centers. Like my office is located in downtown Toronto, right? But a lot of our population is coming from really far from outside of the city, not necessarily in close quarters. I'm actually from the East Coast of Canada. Like I grew up in a very small town, and I certainly didn't have access to these types of cares or situations. I didn't even know what a naturopathic doctor was until I was almost graduating university and about to go into medical school, really. So I think, again, like getting that message across, and I really do believe that knowledge is power, and we don't know what we're missing sometimes if we aren't educated about certain things. So spreading that message, making it accessible online is really important to us as well, in terms of, not everybody can travel to a city to see an ND or a specialist like any of the other people that are here today as well, even. And so having opportunities to travel to conferences, to put out information online, social media, those types of things, I think that improves accessibility and the knowledge, and that's powerful for those patients.
Thank you. Well, on behalf of our organization, thank you for your work. Thank you for showing up online and for providing that amazing care in person or virtually to your patients, and truly for advocating for better access for patients across this country. This is such a well-deserved award, and we are so happy to congratulate you on it.
Thank you so much. Truly, it's an honor to be even considered for this award. I appreciate it so much, and for everything that Fertility Matters does for the community.
Thank you. That's Dr. Jennifer Fitzgerald, the 2023 award winner for compassion and care. I dropped my page, just wanted making sure. Excellence in fertility care. I'm so sorry. All right. The next award is a very special one. This award is the Social Impact Award. And for those of you in the fertility community, you know how isolating and alone this journey can feel, especially if you don't have anyone in your life who's openly talking about it. If this is a new diagnosis, it can be challenging and frustrating. And so the Social Impact Award is so important because it goes to an individual or an organization that invests heavily in creating valuable content to support the fertility community online, because the majority of us are getting our information and building our community through this process online. They create content that is informative, it's relatable, it's helpful, all while being completely unapologetic about their own fertility journey. They have built a community of followers who look up to them for advice and inspiration, and their work has made a positive impact on their followers by sharing their personal experiences, offering guidance, promoting community engagement and support. They are a true example of someone who is committed to helping others who are going through struggles themselves. And this year's 2024 Social Impact Award goes to someone whose face you may recognize because she went viral on TikTok because of this, her work and her personal story, Shania Boba.
Hi, Carolyn. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to be here among such inspiring change makers today.
Thank you, Shania. So for those of you who don't know, you're probably already following Shania, at least on TikTok, or if you're not following her, you have definitely scrolled by her content. She's a creator of Well by Shania, and last year went totally viral on TikTok because she shared, as a young professional woman, her experience with fertility preservation. Shania, tell everyone what led you to discover fertility preservation for yourself as an option. So that's egg freezing, for those of you who don't know. And what inspired you to share that process online?
Excellent question. I decided to freeze my eggs because I know that the future me really wants to be a mom. And she wants nothing more than to have children one day. And I know it's not in the cards for the next decade because I really want to fulfill my purpose right now, building companies and doing the work that I'm doing. And so this was an option for future me. The reason I shared it online, I give all the credit to my older sister. She is 10 years older and she's a physician herself, and her friends have experienced fertility issues and have had conversations at the dinner table. And, you know, they've mentioned it is so important to have representation in the space of talking about fertility, A, and B, opening up the dialogue about the statistics behind it for ambitious women that follow me on social media to relate to, you know, wanting to do it all in their lifetime, but also wanting to be a mom one day and how to balance everything.
Yeah, so this is exactly the reason why this social impact award is really important to us, to create this community, to share facts and statistics, but also the personal journey and the fertility world. A lot of times when people think about this, they think, okay, I'm in an active IVF cycle for the general population, say, and you have allowed a whole new demographic of women, people with ovaries, to say, I'm not ready to have children. I don't know if I would like to have children. I don't know where I'm going to be. However, I didn't know this was an option, and I would like to explore it. And what you did was truly bring people into all of your ultrasounds, every injection, in a very authentic way. So that was, my gosh, how long ago was that when you first did this?
A year and 1 week.
Wow. So here we are, a year and 1 week ago, this happened. Shania froze her eggs, and here she is a year and a week later, still sharing. And you don't work in the world of fertility. You don't work at a clinic or in a space that's on a daily basis, fertility based. However, you continue that advocacy now, while your eggs are cryopreserved and ready for when, or if you're going to choose to use them. I'm curious why it's so important for you now to continue to elevate that conversation.
So I honestly did a 6-month reflection video, and that went viral. And I started a new cycle of questions in my DMs and just concerns from women about everything to do with fertility and womanhood. And that's when I realized that the work is forever needing to be done. There always needs to be boundaries that are pushed. There always needs to be a conversation. We always need to talk about it because honestly, the education system unfortunately has gaps. And there's quite a bit of misinformation online that if we're not circulating the right information, the encouraging information, a lot of women can feel alone and feel left in the dark. And so realizing after that 6-month mark that there is such a window of opportunity for women to be empowered about their fertility versus nervous and scared and uninformed.
Yes, agreed. Well, you do it so beautifully. It's so engaging. If you're not already following Shania, tell viewers how they can find you so that they can continue to watch what you're doing.
I'd love to connect at Well by Shania on all social media platforms.
So Shania, this is such a well-deserved award. We sincerely thank you for being connected with our community and for your continued advocacy and awareness driving. You are helping young people, young professionals, young people who may not be in a space to even consider having a family, to understand that there are options and that maybe these things are considered. So thank you for being that place for people, not only here in Canada, but for across the world to ask questions and be more informed.
And thank you for all that you do at Fertility Matters.
Thank you, Shania. That is Shania Bopa, our 2024 Social Impact Award winner. Now, our next award winner is someone who I have gotten to know over the past few months, probably, it's getting close to a year now. And this is a very special award for Fertility Matters Canada because it recognizes individuals who are volunteering for our organization. And as an organization, we are, of course, a charity, but we're we service and support people from coast to coast to coast. but we are very small. We have, I always joke, we have 1.5 employees. We do not have 2 full-time employees here. And we have a wealth of volunteers who show up to help support us to ensure our mission moves forward. And so the Fertility Matters Spirit of Giving Award recognizes the exceptional contributions of individuals who have dedicated their time and talents to serving Fertility Matters. This award is presented to volunteers who have made significant contributions to the organization through their dedication, leadership, and service. Recipients are recognized for their outstanding service, not only to FMC, but to the greater fertility community. They have a deep understanding of the organization's mission and values, and they are committed to advancing its work through their volunteer efforts. They have demonstrated exceptional leadership and initiative in their work and have made a significant impact on the organization's success. Excuse me while I get a drink. And I am so honored to award the Spirit of Giving Award 2024 to Fertility Matters Canada, our Fertility in Focus podcast coordinator, Suhani Sirhari.
Hello, Carolyn. Thank you so much for having me, and it's an honor to be considered for this award.
Suhani, thank you so much. What is so special about Suhani is that, Suhani, how long have you been a volunteer with FMC? I was looking at my notes today to find out when we first connected.
Almost a year now, I think, June officially, probably.
And Suhani reached out to us, as many volunteers do, not because Suhani has a personal, right now, like Suhani has not gone on a fertility journey. Suhani is a young person who was interested in serving a community and had a special interest in fertility. So Suhani, how was it, or how did it come to be that Fertility Matters was your charity or organization to volunteer with of choice?
Yeah, it took me a while, but I think I joined, I learned about Fertility Matters Canada like early on, before I even started volunteering. And I was really interested in this organization because I thought it was so vital, and so the information that was being provided, especially online, was so critical. So as someone who was diagnosed with PCOS fairly early on, years before I even started like looking into it, this was a great resource to start learning about it. And I was diagnosed when I was like, I want to say 20, around 19, 20-ish. And so I wasn't really thinking about my fertility health. I wasn't really thinking about my future. But around that time, about like a year later, I started like really looking into it, just kind of learn about what do I have in store for me. And that's when this resource really started to like support me and help me get more information about my health, and also about all the different challenges that people with various different fertility conditions or just struggles that people face. And then you announced the Fertility Matters it's about a year now, the podcast of Fertility in Focus podcast. And I was really interested by this because I'd had a little bit of experience with creating audio pieces and podcasting, and I really wanted to support in any way that I possibly could to help spread awareness and help more people get resources and information, because it's not as easily available. And one of the wonderful things about this particular podcast is that it's not just providing information, which is really important, but also shares the stories of people and what they've been through and the very specific personal struggles, challenges, or barriers that they faced, and also their triumphs. So it's really about creating that community, and I really wanted to be a part of it.
You are just one of our most cherished team members. For those of you who are familiar with our Fertility in Focus podcast, we share expert stories or expert interviews and patient stories. And Suhani is our sole podcast volunteer who listens to every moment of every podcast. She takes show notes. She ensures that all of our guests have the information that they need, have their questions answered. And then as she's listening, she's also the individual who pulls out the nuggets, the golden nuggets. I try to, scribble some notes as I'm interviewing guests, but Suhani, you truly take the time to listen. Very rare, like every time you submit, we share show notes and ask me to have a peek at title options and those things. You truly have grasped the importance of the sound bites and the titles you choose. And it is all, you volunteer a lot of hours. We do a lot of podcast episodes. You are a busy individual. And so I cannot thank you enough, because our podcast would not be as successful. It would be much more of a scramble. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, you make my job producing that podcast so much easier, and we are so thankful for your time. I'm curious to know, through the episodes of the podcast, what are there themes, or are there things that stick out to you as were there things that you have heard that you're shocked about, or do you find that there are things about the podcast that, as your eyes and ears are opening, you understand more of how important it is to share this content?
Mm-hmm. One of the things that really sticks out to me is that even though everyone's journeys and experiences are so individual and everyone's going through something different, there's a huge overlap in the kind of experiences and the challenges that we face. So whether it's about like the support that people have access to, the emotional burdens that come with the ability to access resources, regardless of where you're residing or what community you come from. I think that we're all here and we're all part of this community for a reason. And the stories are so important. It's really important to get people's journeys out there, let them talk and be able to share their experiences, because people who are listening really, really need to be reminded that we're not alone. I think that's like the most important thing. And so it really stood out to me, especially when we were talking about very unique experiences of people living in remote locations, because I know that a lot of the fertility centers and access can be really difficult to obtain. So just being able to use a platform as wide as we have in Fertility Matters Canada, having it be free and easily accessible is so important. And we've created this amazing community. And that was something that really stood out to me, is how we're all like truly connected, despite our vastly different experiences.
Okay. So Suhani, just before we close, if you had a piece of advice for someone who is looking to, whether it's volunteering or getting involved as a volunteer with Fertility Matters Canada or another organization, what would that advice be?
I think the number one advice I would suggest is to just take a moment to figure out what your personal values are, and to make sure that where you're volunteering for also aligns with those values. And I find that oftentimes when you're really dedicated to the mission or to the goal, you really want to give more. Of course, when you're a volunteer, there's only so much that you can do, but when you're really in it and when you really are committed to the values and the missions, you really tend to just naturally want to put in more of the time there. And it makes the entire experience for you and for the people you're working with amazing. And I'm really lucky to get to work with you and so many other members.
We appreciate every moment you have given to us over the past year. You truly are a special part of our team. And I know that anyone who has experienced our Fertility in Focus podcast thanks you for your commitment, your beautiful show notes, and your ability to bring to life in writing, especially what we're trying to achieve with the podcast. Thank you so much, Suhani. You are so deserving. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me, Carolyn. And it was wonderful to speak with you today. And thank you so much for considering me.
That is Suhani Sahari, who is the 2024 Spirit of Giving Award winner for volunteering with Fertility Matters Canada. All right. We have another award. Very, very, I guess all of these awards are very close to my heart. I probably keep saying that. However, This award is incredibly important to all of you in the fertility community, all of you who live in Canada, all of you who have been, will be, or are on a fertility journey. It is the Changemaker Award, and it's so special because it recognizes exceptional contributions for individuals or organizations who have demonstrated a deep commitment to advocating for equitable access to fertility care in Canada. This award is presented to those who have worked tirelessly to raise awareness on the issue and to advocate for positive change that addresses the needs in diverse communities. We live in a country where we have a patchwork of support available for fertility treatment. It is, although we live in a country where we provide healthcare for free, fertility care, which is healthcare, is not provided for free. And I am so excited to present this award because the group that is receiving it has made such change in the past 12 months in their province. They need to be commended. Recipients of this award are obviously recognized for their exceptional fertility advocacy efforts, and they have a deep understanding of the inequities that exist in fertility care across Canada. 2024 Changemaker Award is goes to an organization, and we have 3 of its of the organization's board directors here. Congratulations, Fertility Alberta. You are this year's Changemaker Award winner. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Carolyn. Thank you so much for this award. We are absolutely honored to have been nominated and thrilled to receive this. As you mentioned, we're relatively young. We've only been around for less than a year. We celebrate our 1-year anniversary coming up in June. So it's incredibly encouraging and meaningful to receive this so early in our journey.
Well, it is an award that is so impactful. The work that you do is so important. And what I want all of our viewers to know is, yes, your organization is in its infancy. A year ago, there were no patient advocates or no formal way for patients to advocate in the province of Alberta, where there is currently no public funding to support patients on a fertility journey. And what you and your team have done is come together. You've established, you've gotten your nonprofit status, and in a year, why don't you tell everybody what has happened since June of 2023? Michelle?
Do you want to go, Tanya?
Sure. Well, we had a group of passionate ladies who came together and wanted to ensure that Alberta, being one of 2 provinces that did not have any public funding, that we advocated to our government to say that fertility funding should not just be for those who have the financial resources to access it. In a year, we've made incredible inroads with our government officials, with the public, and just, I guess, highlighting the necessity for Alberta to get on board, much like the remainder of the provinces, other than, unfortunately, Saskatchewan. You know, everybody should have equal access to care. Everybody should have the right to create their family. And it should not just be something that's for the privileged.
Yes. And so Fertility Alberta came together. They made a plan. What is so amazing to me is to watch your group not only sit down and put the work in, because you're all volunteers. Every person that is within the Fertility Alberta organization is volunteers. And of course, like so many of us, you're so passionate about the cause. And when you have a passion, it drives you to make change in the areas that are important to you. But I've also seen you work collaboratively. You worked. Of course, we're connected through Fertility Matters, and we are so happy that we're able to not only help support you in ways that we can, but also to learn from you on things that you've done that have worked. And what I have loved to see is your connection with the other provincial advocacy groups or other advocacy groups across the country, because to me, that is all of the voices together are so important. Michelle, I'd love for you maybe, or Stacey or whoever, to talk about why the benefit or why that was so important for you to lean into other organizations who are doing similar work in other areas.
Well, I mean, I think we're all in this together in Canada. At least that's how we like to look at it. You've been a great support of ours from the very beginning, Carolyn. Thank you. And the whole Fertility Matters community and team. And if we can help others, we will gladly do so. There's no point reinventing the wheel. We were able to get up and off the ground running as quickly as we could because of yourself, Conceivable Dreams, the support we had from other similar advocacy groups made it possible for us to take the leaps that we made. So in turn, we want to do that and help others as best we can. But it has always been important to us to understand the full picture of what fertility and the fertility journey looks like for patients. So we actively engage all of our stakeholders all of the time, the clinics, the pharmaceutical companies, the support groups. We're trying to learn from everyone all the time, every day, and do as much research and learning and listening as we can so that we can be the best that we can be and represent Alberta patients to our fullest potential.
Yeah, it's very evident, and I commend you because, again, you all have busy lives, and this is a volunteer activity, and you are making significant impact. You are getting feedback. You are putting in the work on behalf of thousands of people who live in your province. And what I want you to know, and I'm sure you do know, that your work is not only inspiring other advocacy groups, but who are currently working, but you have inspired a groundswell of people who actually have not been actively advocating. And we've seen people come to FMCs saying that they've seen what you're doing and they want to either get something started in their province or territory or get involved. They were wondering if there are organizations in the province or territory that they currently lived in. So your work is not only changing the lives or will change the lives of Albertans, but also you are inspiring this change for other people to get involved and use their voice. I'd love to know, just before we go, what advice do you have for people who want to get involved or don't know how, or are nervous of the word, sometimes we hear this, advocacy, that sometimes can be a scary word, especially if you don't understand government. Certainly to me, that was a scary thing for me when I don't have a background in any government, anything. What advice do you have for people who are tentative and maybe want to get involved but aren't so sure?
That's a good question. First of all, I want to acknowledge the board members of Fertility Alberta because it is a lot of work. Not to be a cautionary tale, but it is a ton of work to start a nonprofit from scratch. But we were able to do it and have the success we've had because we have such strong, passionate, driven, tireless advocates in our group. So that would be the first piece of advice I would have, is to find people who are as passionate as you are to advocate. The advocacy piece, you can help or you can learn some of that from other organizations like ourselves. Learning who to talk to in government, that takes a little bit of time, but it's learned and it's research and you can get there. But the biggest piece of advice is find people who are willing to put in all of that hard work and long hours, because it does take a bit of an army. And it's one of the things that we're trying to do is engage Albertans in the advocacy that we're doing to build that army of support so that it's not all us. It's also Albertans in the constituencies where they live talking to their MLAs. So it does take a lot of people it's a big, heavy lift, but it isn't impossible. Look at what we've achieved in less than a year. It's with tireless volunteers, it's possible.
Yes, and sorry, Tanya, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to add, I think too, it does seem really overwhelming, but it can, if you start small. So even just as small as advocate to your employer to add employer benefits. We need the government to jump on board, but we can start small. And so if you're still apprehensive about how much time or effort it will take to be a part of an organization, you can advocate for yourself by asking your employer to add their own benefits, to add fertility benefits to their plans, and start small, start there. And I know FMC has great resources for that we lean on. And so I would just want to add that, because I think those little small steps will add up to the big things.
And meet with your own MLA or MP as well.
Yeah. Your story matters. And sometimes it can be scary, but the first step starts with you by taking that first step. So Fertility Alberta, Michelle, Tanya, Stacy, and your entire board of directors, your organization is so deserving to be recognized for your advocacy. I am inspired by the work that you do truly every day. And I'm so thankful to be connected, and thank you for allowing FMC to be part of the work that you do on behalf of all Albertans. The 2023 Changemaker Award winner is Fertility Alberta, a patient advocacy grassroots organization based in Alberta.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we have one final award, maybe not final, but almost. We're getting there. I have a very special award that will recognize a fertility clinic who is providing exceptional fertility care to its patients. The Fertility Matters Canada Compassion and Care Award recognizes exceptional Canadian fertility clinics that have demonstrated a commitment to providing compassionate and individualized care to their patients. The award is presented to clinics that have a deep understanding of the emotional and physical challenges that can accompany a fertility journey or a family building journey, and they are dedicated to providing a supportive and nurturing environment that fosters healing and hope. This fertility journey is very hard, and if you're moving into treatment, being in the care of a clinic that listens and truly cares for you is so important. These clinics provide personalized, evidence-based treatments that are tailored to each patient's unique needs and circumstances, and they are committed to minimizing the stress and anxiety that can accompany a fertility treatment cycle. In addition, their clinical expertise, recipients of this award are also recognized for their advocacy and outreach efforts. They have an understanding of the social and cultural context in which fertility treatment is provided, and they are dedicated to advancing the rights and well-being of their patients. They are involved in patient advocacy efforts and organizations like Fertility Matters Canada, and they work closely with patients to ensure that their voices are heard and their needs are met. The 2024 Fertility Matters Compassion and Care Award is awarded to Trio Fertility in Toronto, and I'm so happy that Dr. Soni Sierra is here with me today to accept the award on behalf of her clinic. Dr. Soni, thank you for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for all the work that you do, all the work that Fertility Matters does, and especially we are humbled and honored to be recognized this way. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And this award we have a nomination process that opens up in the fall. And this award, Trio was nominated by several patients for the Care and Compassion Award because of the exceptional fertility care that they had received, not only by you, but your entire team, your nurses, your lab staff, your administrative staff. Why is it so important for TRIO to ensure that patients are truly the center of all of the work that you do?
Because that's why we're here. We're here to provide, I think, fertility service to our patients. And that is our number one goal in terms of providing patient-friendly care, taking into account where our patients are in the process, where they're from. We work downtown Toronto. We're very, very proud of our diverse staff, from physicians to nurses to lab staff. I think we represent the people we serve, and I think that helps us deliver the best patient care. We are also, mentored by pillars in our field who have always put forth, the philosophy that first and foremost you practice good medicine. And so that's how our clinic runs. And so our focus has always been on patient care. And that's why I think this award means so much to us. Probably more than any other award we've received or accolade.
Well, it is very well deserving. And as I said, several patients nominated TRIO to be recognized for this reason exactly. I would love to know, so TRIO obviously is providing exceptional fertility care when patients are on site in your offices, in your operating rooms, in your lab. Well, I guess your blood draw lab, not your embryology lab. But TRIO also is very active in their education virtually. So online, and your online presence, and your physicians and your staff, your team are showing up online to also provide information and education, and to advocate publicly. Why is that an important part of the culture at TRIO?
Again, I think it's just reflective of where we're at in terms of how we practice fertility care. Patients go for information online, and therefore we're trying to provide evidence-based advice and care to that patient population, accessing it that way. We also try online to just reach a greater population to provide education. And again, our clinic Evolve, that just does egg freezing, our sister clinic, part of the whole purpose of that clinic and the online presence is to provide education regarding fertility and fertility options. So it's very much a big part of our practice. The other thing we do with our online practice is to also just inform patients in terms of what we have available. Again, the fertility field is extremely difficult to navigate from a patient perspective. There are so many options, there are so many sources of information. Another example of us trying to outreach and display what we have is, our new trauma-based fertility care that's unique and reaches a very specific population. And so we utilize our online presence to get knowledge and information out there that we are here and this is what we do.
Thank you for sharing that. And just one final question. As the director, I've been here for 9 years with FMC, and for each of those 9 years, TRIO has partnered. Part of our revenue is memberships of clinics across the country, and every year TRIO shows up and supports us with a membership. Why is a partnership or supporting the work that Fertility Matters Canada does important to your team at TRIO?
Because I think Fertility Matters is such an important advocacy group, and you serve a very important purpose to be patient-facing and to provide a large amount of information to patients, as well as advocate them on their behalf to government and other bodies to ensure that fertility care in Canada progresses forward. So it's very, very important work that we stand behind 1,000%.
Thank you
And
so
are
much.
grateful that you do it.
Thank you. Well, we are grateful for your partnership. Always, we appreciate it. It allows us to continue our work towards more equitable access to fertility care for everyone in this country. But on behalf of FMC, congratulations to you and your entire team at Trio Fertility. This award is well deserved, and we look forward to partnering more in the future.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for this honor on behalf of all of Trio Fertility.
You are so welcome. And our next award is the Fertility Matters Canada Better Benefits Award. This award recognizes an employer that has taken action to be part of the solution to make meaningful difference in the lives of their employees who are struggling to build their families. This award applauds an employer that has worked with their insurance underwriter to create an inclusive, family-friendly benefit plan. The employer will also act as an exemplar for other organizations by defining fertility and family building creation policies. They encourage open conversations within the workplace, and they provide training to managers and can demonstrate flexibility and understanding to all of the employees who are struggling within their organization. What is so special about this award is that as part of our advocacy at the provincial and federal level, we also advocate at the employer and insurance level. And as an organization, it takes a village of people who understand. And we love when organizations prioritize fertility and family building to help all stakeholders allow access to fertility and family building, not only for their own employees, but as an inspiration to all who are watching. And the 2024 Fertility Matters Better Benefits Award goes to Gibson Energy, located in Calgary, Alberta. Here accepting the award, we have Haley Glass and Ricardo Silvestro, all the way from Calgary. Thank you so much for being here. This is an incredible award, and I'm so excited not only to recognize the work that Gibson has put into your fertility and family building extended healthcare benefits for your employees, but also to hear, why you felt as an organization this was so important to implement. So Haley and Ricardo, on behalf of Fertility Matters, thank you to you and your whole team at Gibson Energy.
Thank you so much. We're very honored to receive the award.
Thank you, Carolyn. It's just wonderful to be honored and recognized for this. Answering your question there on why we went down this path, it's such an opportunity, and it starts with how Gibson Energy looks at employee benefits and what we provide. Common goal is to demonstrate care for our employees and their families. And what a way to demonstrate care than to understand real life challenges that exist, right? Building a family today takes many shapes and forms, as we know, and can take a lot of challenge and stress and financial burden. So it's a real world challenge. We know it exists. So demonstrating care by acknowledging it and doing something about it is really meaningful to us. And just so happy that we were able to launch such a great benefit.
Absolutely. Haley, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this commitment to employee wellness is really embedded in the culture here at Gibson. And we did this not because we had to, but because it's the right thing to do. And it really just shows how much Gibson really cares about its employees and really supporting everyone at all stages of their family building journey.
It's fantastic. And, there's lots of data out there that shows that not only, of course, this is the right thing to do, but also, it helps you to attract and retain young talent, and it helps support people within the workplace so they're more productive and they're not as focused on on their fertility struggles within the workplace. They know that they're in a, work is such a huge, obviously, part of our lives. And when you are diagnosed with fertility, or if you're in the middle of fertility treatments, it eats up so much of who you are. So knowing that you are working with an employer who not only sees you, but understands and is there to support you through that, season of your life, I'm sure it means so much to every one of your employees, especially those who will or who have or who are on a fertility journey.
Absolutely.
Was there something that's that spearheaded this initiative? Was it someone coming to you, or was it, as you say, because it's just part of the culture? I'd be curious to know, sort of, for others watching, what was it that allowed you to sort of sit down and look at this?
Sure. Yeah. I think a really important piece was staying in tune with what life challenges people are facing, right? Whether that be hearing about them from others or employees or from anywhere, right? Just staying really in tune. So having a benefit strategy that stays aligned and in tune with what's going on, and then adjusting to it and recognizing there's something maybe we can contribute to, again, be an employer that is looking to forward, is looking to address individuals' needs, and be that employer of choice. So absolutely.
Fantastic. And just before we let you go, I am curious if you have advice for other organizations who may be contemplating, are unsure, or who may not even know that this is something that they should consider for their employees. What would that advice be to others who may be watching?
Great question, Carolyn. Thanks. I think I'd love to have a coffee chat with anyone on it, but I'd say at this point, explore it. So for any other employers, explore it. It's not as difficult as you think. There's the mechanics of how benefits work that you can explore with your partners that you work with, your providers that you work with, and be a change leader. Be in tune with what's going on, and just go for it. And once you start exploring it, you might find out that there's a lot of good that can come, and it's not as hard as you think it is.
Well, you and your team at Gibson Energy are certainly, being those change leaders. I should note, we have conversations with lots of different organizations and insurance companies, and, there are insurance, benefits that are out there, for $2,500 or $5,000 sort of lifetime max. What I want the audience to understand is that Gibson has a significant investment in their fertility and family building benefits packet. It is not just a drop in the bucket. It will make the actual benefit will make a significant difference to employees because they took the time to learn. You took the time to understand what that journey can look like, and you're actually investing in a benefit that is significant. And we really, really appreciate the work that you've done on that piece.
Well, thank you, Carolyn.
So this has been the 2024 Better Benefits Award winner, Gibson Energy from Calgary, Alberta, implementing a very inclusive fertility benefit in 2023, significant impact for the employees of that organization. Thank you so much. I am pretty positive that several times during this live broadcast, I said 2023 instead of 2024. So if I did, I apologize in advance. We are celebrating the 2024 Fertility Matters Awards. Thank you so much to everyone who took time to nominate this season. As I mentioned, we had hundreds of nominations come in. Our awards committee read through each one of those to ensure that not only everybody who was nominated is so deserving of receiving an award. And of course, we can only give out one award per category, but we are thankful for taking the time because it does take time. The nomination process does take time. So thank you to everybody who nominated. Thank you and congratulations to anyone who was nominated. Thank you for showing up in the fertility community to ensure increased access, awareness, education, support. Thank you for continuing to support Fertility Matters. And a huge congratulations goes out to all of our award winners tonight. This is Canadian Fertility Awareness Week 2024, and we are celebrating with our second annual Fertility Awards. Watch out for nominations for our third annual event coming this fall.